Are we truly alone in the universe? Years ago, I saw some bizarre lights in the sky, and my curiosity was piqued. This led me down a rabbit hole to discover who these visitors might be and where they might come from. On my journey, I found out that many other people were having these direct encounters with beings from other dimensions, and that I too could communicate with them directly.
Hola, hello acá,
Hello, Ra. Um,
acá.
this is Reuben again, and enjoy connecting in this way. Could you strengthen the connection and give me a scan? Scan the energies here.
A moment. I sure will.
Excellent. And is it okay to connect with you in this way through our channel?
Yes.
Okay, great. Could you remove anything that might be interfering with our communication today?
A moment. Much better.
Okay, great. And now could you push down on the channel and remove her mind from the session?
A moment. It's very well. However, there's much interference with frequencies. We will try our best to push through.
Okay, could you describe what these interferences are?
It appears that the planetary spheres emanating a frequency that is hyper stimulating and causing much distortions in connecting with higher frequencies.
This hyper distortion, is it a negative frequency or a lower vibrational frequency?
Let us try to explain this one moment. The planetary sphere is emanating vibrations of lower frequencies by the others, which is causing the frequency of your incarnates to emanate their own frequency in a distorted fashion, which is causing the incarnates to have difficulties to connect to their higher frequencies.
And when you
This is a method by which the others are using to disconnect the connections to higher frequencies in order to receive balance in their own frequency.
I see. So just for them to be in existence, they have to, in a sense, keep the frequency low.
This is a frequency that is being emanated currently as a way to cause disharmony.
In a sense, what we spoke about last time with these wars and other difficult times for humans is is, and the creation, the artificial creation of these is in a sense keeping the frequency low, or is it actually some sort of frequency beam like when we see in like James Bond movies where they're beaming frequencies onto the people?
This is correct.
Okay. Is it both? Are they actually using, some say the 5G is a lower frequency plan. To a lot of conspiracies talk about the 5G is trying to lower the frequency of the planet. Is this also correct?
All right. And this is correct. It is emanating through your electrical channels, which is coming through the earth, through the fibers of metallic substances, emanating outwards into your atmosphere, enveloping this planetary sphere through the ions.
Is this the what was commonly termed chemtrails, where airplanes are spraying certain chemicals into the ionosphere? Is this also part of this?
Well, there is a form of blanketing. It's a complete saturation through the metallic particles emanating and distributing themselves in your environment, because they are every particles in every directions, connecting to these electrical systems that are in your environment.
I see. Are there certain areas on the planet more or less affected by these programs, frequency programs?
It appears not. It appears to be in all parts, and some more dense than others. However, it is enveloping the entirety of your planetary sphere.
I see. And what would be the best precautions or actions to take for us individually to navigate these frequency wars? Perhaps is a good way to call this.
Um, This form of hyper stimulations is the disharmony within the being, and the frequencies are being affected. Therefore, all that can remove such disharmony for moments of time can break this pattern and allow for the body to be more balanced. It is quite impossible this time to have complete disconnection. However, moments, however long they may be, can help return balance to the frequencies that are emanated from the body. This allows for moments to have this balance and allow for the reconnections to the higher frequencies that are there, and allowing for the body to return to a form of balance, which will enable for more pulling of the light and the love.
I see. So, in a sense, finding ways or methods to disconnect from our electrical metal world, is that a solution? For example, going out into nature without your phone, having a sauna and or something like these types of activities.
This is very good.
I see. Anything else that Ra can suggest for breaking this frequency saturation?
It is difficult for these wars at this moment is quite dense and penetrating. It is quite difficult. However, the forces of the goodness are working to dismantle this frequency. Therefore, it is temporary.
I see. So we just, as individuals, we can just go into a little hibernation, perhaps a little slow down, and try to call for help and disconnect when we can.
This is correct.
I see. In what way is are the forces of light disconnecting these frequency? I guess we could say weapons, but would that, if you tell us, would that give away would that open the light up to being exposed to some of these operations, or how does that work?
There are groups of beings that are given the tasks of overcoming these weapons. They work like your army to defeat these. There are wars on many planes, on many levels, in many areas, which are continuously being battled. You have only to know that you are not alone.
Excellent. Thank you for reminding us and helping in this way. I wanted to ask about, we've sort of had this theme going now where we're asking about different beings. We talked about Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and I wanted to sort of go in that direction, but instead of a physical person, I wanted to ask about the idea, concept, energy of Archangel Metatron, and get Ra's take, so to say, on that energy, as it has strong roots in our cultures and in spiritual communities. But of lately, there's been talk about a negative entity, a negative version of this Metatron energy. So I just wanted to understand from Ra's perspective, what is this Metatron energy?
We are not receiving this word. Please explain this word.
In many religious texts, Archangel Metatron is quite popular. And some people compare the Metatronic energy. They say it's connected to Hermes or Thoth or Thoth or let me see. There's other energies that sort of connect through that lineage, but Archangel Metatron is sort of the negative Metatronic energy is what I think is the biggest question, as many people for many lifetimes have worshipped or called upon this Archangel Metatron energy. So just wanting to get a little more
We
insight.
do not have this frequency. Can you describe it more? It's from where?
Okay. There's a famous sacred geometry form called the Metatron cube, which has circles, connecting circles inside a sort of a three-dimensional cube. And let's go back to I think the biblical text talk about an Archangel Metatron who actually had a physical a beingness or appearance on earth, a physical incarnation, and he ascended to become an angel to come and help and assist people on the planet. So that's sort of the biblical context.
We have not this image. Describe the image.
Ooh, I don't know if he has an image other than the famous Metatron cube, which is, like I was saying, the circles. Let me see. Let's switch. Maybe let's go to Thoth. That's probably something you're more familiar with, as Ra and Thoth, or Thoth have Ra. I think it would be the shorter beak depiction in the Egyptian sort of mythologies, where Thoth would be the same bird archetype, but a much longer beak.
You may continue with the question.
So maybe first, is this Thoth energy, does it have many forms, not just the Egyptian version of this beak? Does he show up on our planet? Some people say Hermes. Some people say even ideas of Odin, the Norse god Odin. Some people make that connection. From Ra's perspective, what other beings is he connected with?
We do not know if we can bring this through the channels. Let's see.
Okay. Well, maybe
Instructions are not present. However, we are trying one moment.
I'm also imagining this form in my mind. So if you can connect through that.
There's more of a case of a hotter frequency. A planet that is of this being.
I'm sorry, did you say a planet?
Yes, however, it's not the name here. It is hot. Warm, hot.
Mm-hmm.
We may ask a question one more time. We can try now.
Okay. How is this energy affecting or influencing our Earth plane?
It's fire.
Fire. Fire comes from this plane?
Burning.
Is it a positive energy, a clearing perhaps, or negative
It
oriented.
appears to be more with this fashion. It is more positive than negative. It is okay. It has a frequency of, it appears to be activating some form of cellular function that is higher.
Okay.
We do not know if
Mhm.
we are being able to bring this information correctly.
Okay. Perhaps after I can give a little more instruction to the channel for next time we can cover this in more depth. Is it is this energy that you're able to connect with or see, is it connected to the Thoth energy, the Egyptian bird with the long beak? Human body but it has the beak and carries the ankh.
These beings that are in your history are not present in the same way as this time-space coordinates. These frequencies that you refer to are now in different form. They no longer carry the same instructions as they once did during that particular time space coordinate. Even the Ra in its form during the periods of the Egyptians is no longer there. It all becomes well, let us try to explain how the linear times work.
Okay.
This is a difficult concept to understand. We will try very hard to make this as understandable as possible.
Okay. I can help. I love this subject.
There is a point, and it is expanding away from a point. And as it expands, it creates a expansion. Each point away from the origin is continuously moving, and the point, one moment, let us try to, it's difficult with this channel, one moment.
Okay.
Perhaps we can try with the water.
Yes. That's what I was
There is a point in the water with the ripples expanding outwards, creating rings expanding.
Yes.
Each ring is a time-space coordinate on the ring. And as you expand outwards, there is a speeding up. It is expanding faster.
Hmm.
The time space coordinate that you are currently experiencing is also an accordion. It
Right.
is Okay, one moment.
Mm-hmm.
This accordion is simultaneously contracted as well as expanded.
Okay.
Therefore, all events that are occurring on each point is occurring simultaneously. It is changing at this particular time-space coordinate. Ra and Thoth existed and did not exist at the same moment. The frequencies that you are experiencing at this moment are only a function of the expansion. They are not a function of a linear path where one event equals another event equals another event. They are more or less a function of all moments and all events. And your reality, in fact, only wants to see. It's very complex.
I think I understand. So in a sense, with each ripple, it is a different version. So when we're talking to Ra now, even compared to Carla Ruckert and others who channeled the raw energy just a few decades ago, this is a different version of Ra than what we typically can consider in a linear fashion.
One moment.
Okay.
Your mind has created an image which has combined information from points on the line that you have chosen to pick from. Therefore, your reality is existing in a way in which you have chosen to collect information. And your current existence and way of thinking could change if one information on the point changed. We do not know if this can be understood.
I think so. It's like some use the term, the splitting of timelines. When we make a choice, we go in a different direction completely to another space-time continuum.
We had a different concept.
Okay.
It was more in line with a vessel, a cup per se, which has different color marbles inside.
I see.
And this equals this vessel with the marbles. But if you choose to take one marble and change it with another marble, it is not the same vessel.
I understand.
Therefore, your current existence is the accumulation of particular marbles. And therefore, your entire understanding, thinking, and being, and the image in which you exist is the accumulation of these marbles. These marbles, however similar they are to another incarnates, are different.
Right.
For one views the past in a different way, with different information. But none of it is real.
At least we have that in common.
Therefore, the time-space coordinates, which we will refer to as the marbles,
Okay.
are different and they're continuously changing. The marble of the past is not so. Therefore, the time period of the Thoth is not as you imagine it to be. It, at that point in time, was also an image.
I understand. And
Therefore, that image is always changing and different from each individual incarnate's perspective. These images that are created and expanded into this rippling out is different and continuously moving. There is no one point that is the same between two incarnates.
I understand. And as we individually change and shift, and then we get together as groups, I'm assuming the marbles get really, really colored in all of their different varieties and ways and combinations.
This is perhaps correct. The image that you are currently experiencing at this time-space coordinate is not the same image that the channel is experiencing at this time-space coordinate, or all incarnates. Everyone is experiencing a different image. Therefore, if it is true at this time-space coordinate, it is true for the time-space coordinate that existed during the Thoth.
Oh, okay. I think, okay. I believe I understand.
Therefore, there is no linear perspective for this is true during all that is.
Everything is in flux.
This is correct. Therefore, when one chooses to live in this time-space coordinate from a linear perspective, it is all false.
Yeah, I understand.
But there is no linear. And if we did give you a linear perspective, we would have to experience this linear perspective from your image. And it would only make sense from your image perspective.
And for Ra, how does Ra perceive reality? That's a big question.
We are currently existing in a very high, compact, dense frequency where we are capable of experiencing all the time-space coordinates.
Well,
however, we cannot go to one specific time-space coordinate. It is not an image in a form that is like your television. It is a frequency that is emanated from that particular time-space coordinate, which allows for us to understand where it is.
where it is in its evolution, in a sense?
This is correct.
Okay.
Where it is on the accordion, expanding from the starting point.
I see. Are you simultaneously interacting with other versions of Earth?
Mm. And this again is complex. For your image of this earth is not how we experience it. Mm.
Maybe aspects might be a better word, not versions, because I'm sure pieces of it are connected to other pieces. And
This is correct.
Mhm.
We have this ability to understand the frequencies and to understand how they can allow incarnates to find a balance.
And is that part of Ra's mission, in a sense, to help find balance?
This is correct. For the balance is harmony. When harmony is being emanated, the expansion is more correct.
Right. Is it more sustainable? Is that a good word? Sustainable?
Perhaps there's more words. It is more harmonious. It is more of the frequency of the light and the love.
Mm-hmm. As nature, as our Mother Earth, Gaia, as nature tends to be
This is correct.
in harmony with all of the different beings and energies.
This is correct. It is the intelligence of the all, which is the image of the infinite creator, to have this harmony emanate from all that is. The polarity allows for the harmony to be. It's complex.
I think I'm getting it.
Very well.
Or I should say I'm getting less attached to some other concepts and ideas. Your explanations are helping me sort of massage and loosen my mind to other concepts and ideas. So in that sense, maybe
This is good for the images that you attach yourself to in this linear function are in essence creating resistance.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's our attachment to how we think it is, as opposed to just flowing with whatever it wants to be.
This is correct. For the resistance causes disharmony. The harmony is in the pulling forward. The expansion is not pushing away from the starting point. It is pulling towards.
Oh, okay.
The pulling towards the outwards. Oh, this is complex. The pulling is where you will find the harmony, the balance. When you are trying to find a point on the time-space coordinates in a linear fashion, you are holding yourself back from expanding. It is a form of magnetic pull in the opposite direction, or it is resistance. All resistance will hold you from being pulled forward in the light and the love.
And this exercise of loosening our attachment to what is, in a sense, is helping us invite the more harmonious reality.
This is correct. You
Okay.
can let us try to find an example of your mind.
Okay.
There is a movie of this Star Wars, as
Yes.
the channel is familiar with this. And there are multiple movies, one after the other, after the other, after the other, that has been continuing for multiple of your years.
Right.
Your current understanding of the Star Wars is the accumulation of all the past movies.
Right.
This is where you are currently existing in. You are existing in a world where what you imagine of the Star Wars is the accumulation of all the previous ones. However, it is not so, for the movies that were created in the past have different versions of themselves. There
And-
exists an infinite amount of previous movies. And now you are trying to understand Star Wars. And you cannot. The only objective of the incarnate is to be in harmony with the frequencies emanated by the planetary sphere in the light, in the love, pulling from the intelligence of the all. Each incarnate has the mission to allow for the pulling to create a harmonious existence within your planetary sphere.
I see. I kind of look at it like a game, a video game in a sense, where we are faced with challenges, faced with resistance, perhaps might be a better word. And then we as individual incarnates can filter this resistance through our experience and through our choices, and perhaps create a more harmonious environment.
We believe we have understood, and this is correct. It is to increase, is to live in harmony with the vibrations of the planetary sphere. For you have chosen to be in this planetary sphere at this time-space coordinate in order to create harmony.
And is it, as you said, we've chosen to be here, is it kind of our individual missions, as Ra has its mission to create harmony? Is it our individual missions who may be tuning into the Ra energy, incorporating the Ra teachings and other teachings to also create harmony in our dimensional space awareness?
The incarnates have their own mission with instructions in order to create this harmony. This is correct. Communicating with the raw is only to allow for the awareness to be known.
Mm-hmm.
It is no other function.
I see. To expand our understanding of the process.
This is correct. It is to have the knowing that the instructions are within the cellular functions of the incarnate.
And that's going to vary, meaning that the specifics are going to vary from each individual to each individual.
This is correct. The
And-
instructions that are currently existing within the cellular functions of the incarnate are perhaps different for incarnates. However, the complete mission of all incarnates is to create the harmony in the planetary sphere, which is coexisting with the planetary sphere.
And even negatively oriented incarnates who have this strong desire to create resistance. In a sense, we are co-inhabiting with these beings to help tune those frequencies to a harmonious
This
one.
is correct. This is correct.
And was that the agreement for before incarnating here for both sides?
We do not understand both sides.
For the more than the say negatively polarized energies that are full of resistance, was there an agreement prior to incarnating here for these energies to mix and mingle and to harmonize?
And this is more complex.
Okay. Are you able to explain a little detail?
The others are existing on a different frequency than that of the planetary sphere. And they are existing in their own sort of environment.
Okay.
And they have their own incarnates that are their making. And then there are incarnates that are of the frequency of the planetary sphere and of the light in the lab who are being manipulated into a negative frequency. Therefore, there are multiple different versions of the lower vibrational entities.
I see. So some are actually love and light, but getting, as you said, manipulated.
This is correct.
So is there, it was always my understanding that everything was of the love and the light, even the negative. Is that not how you see it?
No, there is a force of a low vibration, which is the polarity of the light and the love and the dark and the not love that is existing. This negative force has been created to create polarity.
So that force is the origin of polarity, the origin of.
We believe this is correct. It is in the. Yes, this is correct. It is the creation of polarity is one of light and one of dark, as it is in all that is.
Right. So this energy, this different world, almost the way it seems, it's almost like a different world that is creating these negative entities, negative beings.
They have their own origin. The point of the point of which all has started from was a point in which there was light and dark.
Yeah.
And from there, through the ripples of the water, as you imagine it, there is a force that is light and one that is dark. Therefore, it is its own frequency.
Right. A mirror.
Yeah, it's just nice.
And it's through this reflection, and maybe sometimes, how you can put a mirror behind you and a mirror in front of you, and you can see infinitely numbers of reflections. Is this an accurate representation of the polarized energies? The polarized game, I should say?
One moment.
Okay.
This is one way to see it. It is okay. It is a good representation. It is not the complete understanding, however, it is okay. This frequency of dark has not to be in a prominent, more expanded way than that of the light. The harmony exists when they are in balance with each other. When the incarnate can feel the forces of dark and light equally. This is where the incarnate is in balance. Currently, your planetary sphere is experiencing a pushing of the dark, which is trying to envelope and surpass the light. And this is causing disharmony.
And this also, in many of our historical references, has caused a rapid evolution, for the light has had to come in stronger to overcome the dark. Is that also what part of this program?
This is correct. Currently, the darkness is trying to push the light out. And the light is a force that cannot be put out. It is not possible. It is of the impossibilities. It is not a part of this expansion. This expansion can only exist with a balance between light and dark. And of course, now the dark is trying to push the light, and it is causing much. It is a word that does not exist. It is disharmony.
Yeah, I was thinking disharmony. But is this part of this? Some people say this is part of the grand plan. This has always been, this is designed this way so the light can just become stronger. Do you see it that way?
No. The plan is always to have the harmony between the light and the dark. There is no such thing as one being more than the other. It is part of this intelligence of the all is to have this harmony.
So this term sometimes we have in our vernacular, no pain, no gain. Meaning, I'm sure you understand that, but that's not necessarily how you see things.
Mm, no, which is correct in a way, in the sense that existing within a structure that is continuously allowing for the incarnate to choose the light is part of the expansion. The free will is very important. It is one that cannot be superseated. Therefore, incarnates are continuously feeling the light and the dark as frequencies and allowing for the incarnate to be pulled forward in the light is the purpose of existence.
And that's how we evolve. That's how we continue to expand and upgrade ourselves. But there is, it does seem on our planet, there has been this idea of the fall, the cycle of darkness that has come over the planet to bring the frequency lower into a third density. And so in these cases, the dark, we could say, in a way, the dark has won for those time periods.
Yes.
Yes. Am I complicating things?
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, one moment. The expansion from the starting point outwards. Now you are currently on the ripple that is far away from its origin, correct?
Yes, I understand.
Therefore, imagine that this expansion is an accordion. And
Right.
one side of the accordion is light and the other side of the accordion is dark.
Yeah.
Have you this image?
Yes.
The layers of these accordions are wave frequencies.
Yes.
They're waves. They are not straight. When the dark is pushing in one direction and causing for the waves to be more pronounced,
Right.
it is pushing against the layer towards that side. Does that visually resonate?
Yes, like a
And
Bitcoin chart.
now this wave is touching the layers previous, which is altering the image of that particular time-space coordinate, which is then now altering that layer. The goal of the darkness is to return and to disharmonize all these layers. However, the force from the center, from the origin, from the origin, is to expand outwards. The force that is on the opposite side of its origin is light. It is pulling it towards the light. This image is becoming complex. Have you received it?
I think so.
Now, the point opposite to the origin is of the light, and it's pulling all of these waves towards it. The dark is trying to go back in the opposite direction to cause disharmony. There is a war between the starting point and the opposite side.
In that, so it's almost like this image in the mirror, as we were using earlier, this infinite reflections, it's like one of those images, one of those reflections in the mirror is now trying to take over as the original image.
This is nice. We like this concept. It is functioning.
Okay. Instead of just being a reflection, it's actually wanting to have its own light, in a sense, its own origin point.
This is a concept that we can expand on. It's good. It's a good starting.
Okay. And what's the reasons for that? Just to do it? Why would these dark forces want to do this?
This is correct. It is to create an infinite amount of perspectives and images. It is to create, the word is not there. It is so grand, the word. It is to create a complete farm.
Complete form.
All that is, all the points on all the accordion create a farm.
Right.
It is creating this vessel with all the marbles. And now you have this vessel with all the marbles.
Mm-hmm.
It is creating the all.
Right. And the darker energy is trying to do the same?
It cannot exist without the dark.
Yeah. Of course, we need the shadow, so to say, to have the contrast.
This is correct.
However, it sounds like the shadow is trying to
Yes,
create something different.
always.
Is it? It's trying.
Always.
I see. So the shadow is trying to create. It doesn't like being the shadow. I don't understand why. Why would the shadow?
No, the light is a force that is extremely strong. It is a vibration that is stronger, and therefore, in order for the dark to exist, it must fight continuously. For the light does not have to do anything but to be light.
I see. So that's part of its sort of genetic makeup. I know it's not genetics, but the archetype of the dark is to be in battle with the light.
Okay, yes, this is correct.
Coding, so to say.
Yes. It must exist in order to create free will.
I see. So without the dark, there is no free will.
This is correct.
Okay.
This is correct.
But the dark does it like free will? Because it sounds like the dark's always trying to manipulate the free will.
It does not understand.
It doesn't understand free will.
No.
The dark. Huh.
No.
Does the light understand free will? I imagine it does.
No. They are like the water and the oil. They do not have consciousness in themselves.
Okay.
It is not conscious. It is a frequency that, how can we, complex. They are frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
Do not have an explanation that you can understand at this time. We will try to find one. It is a frequency, it's not a consciousness.
I understand. So it's like the frequency of the color black and the frequency of the color white, and then when you, like you said, oil and water, you put them together. Is there a thin line where those frequencies connect, and is that's sort of where our reality?
Yeah, this example does not work, for then the concept of the tuning fork is not realized. It's not easy to explain.
We're getting there.
Yes, correct. We will arrive there eventually.
Yes. And just today we've unpacked quite a bit, so we don't have to we can sort of sit on it and meditate and get more information and come back to this.
This is correct. The meditation allows for the incarnates to receive all of this information.
Right.
There is no secrets per se. It's not something that is difficult to understand per se from the incarnate's perspective. It is only to allow for the mind to awaken this knowing that already exists within the incarnate. For the incarnate is a being of these frequencies. The mind is what pulls you away from this. The mind, with its image and its linear perspective, is what is stopping you from accessing this knowing.
And that's where it's almost we could use the analogy of the mind is the dark and the heart is the light. Would that be accurate?
This is nice. Yes, this is correct. In fact, for the mind is a creation of the others in one particular way.
Right. And harmonizing those would be the most balanced accordion levels.
Oh, this is another complex topic. For you are currently existing on multiple of the sides of this accordion simultaneously.
I not just on one particular ring, but we're on all the rings.
This is correct. For you are currently at this moment in your time-space coordinates existing on a point of the accordion where all past events in linear functions have brought you here. We can return to the Star Wars.
Okay.
You are currently existing in a realm, a time-space coordinate in which all of the Star Wars movies are in one order from one movie.
Right.
But if you were able to step outside and change one of those movies, you would be existing on another time-space coordinate.
Another Star Wars universe.
Correct.
The way it would be another story. The Star Wars story would be slightly altered.
This is correct.
and in many of our comic book worlds and sort of science fiction, we use that term, the Star Wars universe, the Star Trek universe, and then sometimes there's crossovers, and one character from another world pops into another world, and then you have to create a whole new storyline around that.
This is correct. And what is currently occurring at this moment is distortions in these accordion layers. For the dark is pushing and is causing distortions. This is why at this moment everything is distorted.
In this distortion, does this also allow for light distortion, meaning we can get a little more light than usual? UFOs, ET contact, different races popping in and out?
This is correct.
Okay. Is this a common occurrence on other worlds?
And this is occurring in all that is.
Oh. Okay. So the harmony is being disrupted everywhere.
This is correct, but the darkness is not only in your current time-space coordinate. It is since its origin.
So the saying "as above, so below," so we can sort of imagine all space-time continuums are having the same, or not the same issues, but an issue with the dark.
And this is correct.
Wow, this just made everything a little bit bigger for me. I always thought our little Earth world was just, we're just doing our little thing, and
No.
okay. So,
We
does
have
this-
shown the channel much of these images. Perhaps it is explainable through the channel
okay, yeah. Why don't
once we have finished.
Why don't we sort of, it's been a while, so we'll start to wind down here, and perhaps we can finish with the channel. But again, these fascinating conversations, really all these different ideas and concepts, and playing with them, it's really helping my mind settle in and absorb and understand this reality better. So thank you so much, Ra, for doing these sessions.
And we are in service to you.
Thank you.
It's very well. Enlighten love.
Light and love. That was a tough one.
Holy moly. My mind is going to explode.
Wow, that was crazy. I think I understand everything.
Right.
I'm not
Like-
sure, but I
like-
think I might understand everything.
Did you just see the like Neo in the Matrix, seeing all the lines of code?
No, it wasn't like that. It was more like crazy. Hold on a second. I'm like shaking.
Yeah. Get your bearings.
So the only thing that I think I saw was like, I don't even know how to explain it now. So there's something here,
Mm-hmm.
and there was like a starting point here.
Mm-hmm. Starting point would be the light.
No, here's the light.
Really? I was
I
imagining.
don't know.
I was imagining it the other way around. Probably both
That's
ways.
funny. Yeah, maybe it is both ways. I saw like a ball here and then
Mhm.
something here. And this thing over here is like pulling us like, "Woo, come this way."
Oh, okay. So maybe that's the light. Yeah.
And then here it like expanded outward.
Right.
And then what's in between here and here is crazy.
That's the waves going. And then as it pushes, I could see the waves. I use my Bitcoin charts all the time. And let me do a quick screen share for
Yeah,
something.
let me try to see if I can recognize that, because I don't even understand what I saw.
Okay.
It was weird.
Let me share this. So typical kind of Bitcoin chart here.
Yeah, kind of.
And
Yeah, but it also goes into waves like this. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
so I can, with my tool, I can sort of expand I can stretch out. I don't have my mouse. Usually I do it with my mouse. It's a little
Okay.
better. So you see how perhaps, for example, the one end of the polarity would be over here, the other one over here. And as we I can extend the lines this way.
Yeah.
And
Except that those,
and as you compact them, they get closer together. So they actually could probably
yeah.
start
But
jumping almost. You could almost, that's
yes,
kind of what I was
but you have to turn that image 90 degrees clockwise. So the starting point. Okay, so like go back to that chart.
Okay, here's the chart.
Like
Yep.
yeah,
More of a exaggerated.
yeah, more.
Uh-huh.
Is that no, closer together. The way that you had it before was good.
Oh, okay. Like,
So now you have to imagine that the starting point is at the bottom of the page, and the light is on the top of the page.
okay. Oh, okay. I see. Okay.
And
Yep.
then each one of those things
These
is
edges.
the whole line is one ring around the starting point.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Like so like the ripple in the water. This would be
the ripple in the water.
This is one of those ripple lines.
Yeah, it's one of those ripple lines.
Mm-hmm.
And there's dark.
And this would be harmony. This kind of would be harmony.
That would be harmony.
And then the distortion would then be.
Yeah, and every time there's a peak, it's the darkness that made it go that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Pushing in.
God. Yeah,
it's kind of pushing in. So the dark is at the bottom here. Then it's sort of pushing in there. And then that's when Bitcoin spikes. But in a sense,
where you are right now is like at one point on there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then imagine that line duplicated like a billion, quadrillion times. Like there's so many ripples.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
we can go
where
into
you
it.
are. And then when you're looking at something in a linear fashion, you're actually looking at all of those ripples, but from that time space. Oh my God. Let me see if I can draw it, because I can see it in my head. I just have no idea how to explain it.
Yeah. So when you're there, you're looking at that ripple from that vantage point. And you're not seeing all the other ripples in a sense. I mean, not ripples, but all these little indentions. Is that what it's like? These little things. You can't really see that. You're just seeing this line across. So if Bitcoin's at 34,000, you can't see the peaks and the valleys in a sense.
Yeah. So like, if you want to come back to me, I don't know if you can see.
Oh, yeah. Let's stop sharing here. Okay. There you go.
So I think that what I saw was this. So you've got a starting point, and here's the light, and you're here. And if you're looking in a linear time, you're looking this way. But these points here, and here, it's like you're only looking at those points at that time.
So if you were to take your paper and flip it this way, and then you had those accordions.
Yeah.
Then when you see it straight across, you're not seeing the downs and you're not seeing the ups.
And you're not, and you're only seeing what existed there at that time.
Right. That linear from that center point now to here. If you just draw a straight line, then you can only see like the earth It's flat.
Yeah.
You're not seeing when you go down to the earth. Wait, oh, there's valleys and rivers and all that stuff. You're not seeing that in a sense. Am I making sense? You're not seeing all the details. You're just seeing.
You're not seeing all the details, but also all of these other lines are moving all the time.
Okay.
So the history, because when you were asking about the Thoth guy,
yeah.
I saw him moving. I saw him in different existence. Like I even saw him on different planets.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see him only in Egypt. And then it was like his story kept evolving and changing, and it was impossible to understand.
Yeah,
I don't understand how to understand it.
I mean, a lot of people say, you know, that Thoth energy has shown up as, you know, Hermes, as Odin, as Quetzalcoatl in the you know, the Mayan traditions. So in Metatron and Enoch, you know, there's many labels to that energy in a sense, and perhaps over time, our time, that's how it's showed itself as different beings, different faces, and people associate, you know, Thoth with, you know, I think the most common is Thoth. That's because many people around the world know of that Egyptian energy. But then Metatron too, you know, a lot of people are talking about Metatron. That's why I kind of shifted to Thoth, because it seemed that Metatron Ra was having a difficult time.
Yeah, you know, the only way that I can explain how I'm channeling Ra is that I don't know if it's me or if it's just him, or I'm just not, I don't have the instructions for that. But he won't look at a point on the accordion. I don't know if he can't. I don't know. Or he won't. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Well, if Ra is of the love and the light, right? So if Ra is from that vibration and that frequency, perhaps it's more difficult for that energy to see the dark, or to understand the peaks and the valleys.
No, that's not it. No. I think I don't have the instructions to go back in time, because I've tried to understand Atlantis in my own meditation,
right?
And it won't come to me.
Huh.
I think I'm not. But for example, I also think about like future technology, and I feel like I have access to that.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I think like everyone has their own instructions and what they're allowed to see and what they're allowed to bring forward, or like what's part of their instructions.
Sure.
I don't think that I'm supposed to go back in time, because every time that you do, I feel a lot of like resistance towards it.
Oh, I see. So like, for example, Archangel Metatron, like just trying to bring up that image, because you know what it is, right? As a person, you know what Metatron's cube is. You don't? Oh,
No.
maybe that's also part of the problem.
I don't know a lot about a lot of things. I don't really dabble in this world. I'm really more just like, I'm into my plants.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Let me do a quick screen share. Just, you know, maybe we can, that's what I was thinking, maybe we can touch on this next time. So our Metatron in the, you know, it's Judaic, you know, Kabbalistic traditions. I think the Tree of Life may have even came from Metatron.
Oh, I know the Tree of Life.
Yeah, and the and the Kabbalah stuff, right? So in Christianity and Islam, it's in all the different religions, but there is the Metatron cube, which I'm a fan of, because it's
Let me
meditating
see
on,
the cube so I can see what that looks like.
because that's really helped me when I meditate on that to understand aspects of our reality,
Oh,
because
that's
it's
what it is.
the 13 circles. And then when you connect, so all of our platonic solids lie within this. Let me do.
I wonder if there's some kind of way where you could see that in a 3-dimensional.
Yeah.
If
There's a
that
lot of-
is that starting point that he was talking about. Because if you think about it, there's the starting point, there's expansion.
Mhm.
Maybe that's what he was trying to show me.
So let me see if you can see within the Metatron's cube. There's
I
all the
was
different.
seeing it more as waves, but maybe those waves are existing at those points. Because
Oh,
what
okay.
I did see was a starting point, and in that cube that you just showed me, there was a starting point, and it was expanding outwards. I don't know. Maybe they are the same. Maybe that is existence. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like maybe we're expanding in this fashion from the center outwards.
Yeah, something when you meditate on this image, you get all kinds of information. It comes in, it pours in. So maybe next time we can, before we go
I'll
in with,
try.
yeah.
This week I'll try to meditate on this too, and I'll try to
Mhm.
see if something comes to me. But when I'm not channeling, not a lot comes through. So I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, play with it. It's really been helpful for me in my
Okay.
exploration of trying to understand the universe, and all of these platonic solids too have been really helpful, just for expansion. There seems to be a correlation between, if you take Earth and you sort of draw out these points with all those
Mhm.
different, there seems to be a correlation with energy centers on the Earth too. I know there's not a
Okay.
perfect sphere, but in a sense, if you in generalities, each one, the isohedric, the tetrahedron, like all of these different points, geometrical points on the Earth, also have their energy centers. So it seems there's some sort of correlation between.
There's definitely correlation, because
Mhm.
everything that I've always seen is always some kind of perfect spatial
Mhm.
distancing between each other. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is always very perfect.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like if one thing moves, everything moves. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. We'll come back here.
Was there anything else?
So
There-
okay, so I'm just thinking, yeah, I mean, and then this whole idea of light and dark was really, I guess my mind was blown when, and I should have thought about this, because I've heard, over the years with all this channeling information, that, what we do here affects other realms. But I didn't understand, like, it blew my mind that all creation is going through this massive shift right now. So
I know.
that kind of was like, oh shit.
Because
Okay.
not only do you and me exist on one point
Mhm.
on this wave or
Mhm.
accordion, but our
Right.
planet exists on the accordion, our universe exists on this accordion. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I don't, it was so much to understand. And I still don't understand. I don't think that my mind can wrap its brain around any of it, really. It's like I tried to, and then I'm like, I can't.
Well, I think it's a process, and we're sort of going through this exploration here,
Mm.
Trying to figure it out and look at it from different angles and use different
Yeah.
metaphors, and that's the beauty of it. That it sounded
Yeah.
like that's I think Ra said that that's what their mission is, not to help us understand it better.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely. I definitely know that Ra is here to help us.
Yeah. Which is, how cool is that? You know?
It is
And-
so cool.
And then to get these little nuggets of like, don't be so fixated on the, you know, the bird with the beak thing and, you know, back in the Egyptian days, because that's a different version. So just that idea and that concept alone expands our individual thinking of like, oh, it's Ra, yeah, but it's not that. It's because it's changing and time isn't so
Yeah.
fixated in a linear sense. Like, so just that basic couple words
Yeah.
is helping massage our brains to really come up with new ideas, to allow more information to come through. The frequency wars,
That was
which-
really interesting. And
which
that
triggered
really
all
helped.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually feel better now that I understand this whole pushing of the darkness, because I do feel like for myself, even in my own everyday life, I can feel when something is dark pushing me, and I feel when something is light. And so now I know I just got to keep walking in the light.
Yeah.
Just keep walking towards that light.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't let yourself be sucked in by the dark.
Yeah. In a sense. Yeah. And there's a lot of manipulation right now, as Ra was saying, with, you know, trying to pull people in, and we're seeing it in our world. It's quite pronounced. Oops. Sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll continue to take in their information and other information and stay the course, right? So
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was a good one.
yeah, thank you.
No, thank you. Bye, everyone.
Head to interviewwithed.com, click join, and let your curiosity lead you. Understanding that exploring these new worlds and concepts can make a positive difference in our personal lives and together as a collective.